Welcome to BetRacingNation here on Sports Tonight Live. And what we're doing tonight is basically looking back over the best races of the year. We've got our panel as well. They'll be explaining some of the highlighted moments of the season, both on the flat and over the jumps. We'll also take a look as well at some Cheltenham pointers as well, 4 or 5 big races at Cheltenham. Our views have certainly changed since the beginning. We'll find out what we're actually selecting on the big Cheltenham races in due course over the next 45 minutes or so. But no further ado, let's introduce Billy Blakeman. Good evening, Billy.
Evening, Peter.
Good evening. Good evening, Sam.
Good evening,
Sam
Peter.
Boswell.
Nice to see you again.
Who is now becoming a regular on the show.
Something like that, in danger of.
Now we've got your passport verified. We're quite happy to see you on the show. Luke, good evening. You'll give us some pointers, no doubt, for Cheltenham and
whether they'll be any good.
Yeah, exactly. we'll find out. I mean, we've actually, since we started this back in, I think it was towards the end of August, Billy, we've actually got some winners on the board, and obviously we came in towards the end of the flat season, jump season. I mean, your most memorable highlight of 2013?
Ooh, I've got 3, so we'll go in.
We haven't got all night though, Billy.
No. My first one's a bit niche, it's a bit me rather than anything else. So it was April, and it was one of the first really nice summer evenings. And I thought I'd take myself along to Plumpton. It's not too far from me, about an hour and a half's drive. And went off to Plumpton to back a horse called Ballyvoneen on the good firm ground, because that's what he wanted. And I just thought it was a really big price at 16, so I thought I'd have a decent bet, get in the car, go along and watch him. And I watched him. I had 3 winners at Plumpton, and Ballyvoneen won easily from the front at 16s. But then the wife phoned me and said there was a problem with the Betfair account. I thought, oh no, what's happened? And she basically said there's far too much money in it. What's happened? And I said, I did back some earlier. I had a horse up at Doncaster, I think it was Love Island, which had gone in at 40 to 1. And
weekly occurrence, right?
Yeah. You win too much.
He makes it sound a rarity, but he's obviously used to doing it every week. But
no, it was a rarity. Tagula Night at Sandown has also gone in at 16.
So your best moment is your biggest win of the season, then?
That was my first highlight. It was just, start of summer, April, it's just starting to get a little bit warm. And
can't believe you let the wife know. It's the schoolboy era.
Oh, well, yeah, she's got my account login.
So is that the way it works at home then, Billy? You get the wife to put the bets on for you?
Yeah, you need staff, Peter, to be honest.
What about you?
Oh, personal highlights. I've had loads this season, but I think probably seeing my first ever runner, where I've had actually a bit of involvement when I went over to Ireland.
Did it win?
No.
You had to bring that one up, didn't you?
A strong finishing 4th, but
right.
Then it got...
Can you have a strong finishing 4th?
Well, yes. And then, then it went from bad to worse because she's out for the season.
What's the name of the horse? So we can watch
I'm told I'm grand. We've
Okay.
discussed it before, and still out for the season, unfortunately. But I've got a new horse that it's running possibly today, the 27th of December. Right. Be lucky again.
Right.
So keep your eyes peeled. Well, you have to be if you want to have any involvement in horses. I've learnt that within my year or so.
Have you found, I mean, obviously we'll come to Luke's highlight of the season as well in a sec, but have you found, obviously, by being involved with horses, that it gives you that much more enjoyment in the sport?
Definitely. And I think I've learnt a lot more about racing and the factors to consider. It's things like the ground that you take into account before, but when you actually listen to a trainer or you listen to some of the stuff and you go there and you walk the course, you learn more about it. Everything to do with soil type, to how the drainage works there. It's amazing the local knowledge you need. You don't need a geography degree to have it, but
soil type, but like it's dirt earlier in the season.
But things like drainage, and you learn more about it and you see more of an insight, and it is the easiest way to lose a lot of money at the same time. Though you've got to be prepared to treat it as a hobby rather than as a profitable option.
What's your highlight? We'll talk about other sort of memorable moments, but highlights.
Well, I'm a jumps fan, so obviously my best moment of the year came at the Breeders' Cup. When Outstrip won the Juvenile Turf for Mike Smith, I'd sort of put my neck on the line a little bit.
We did it a few times actually towards the. We said it was a certainty. It got beat.
This one was different with Outstrip because I told a lot of American people that it was a superstar, and they were all raving about Bobby's kitten. I think Dan Munn might have tipped up here.
Yeah.
And I told them that Outstrip was an absolute superstar. And turning for home, I had head and hands. Thought, oh no, he's not going to get there. Then, thankfully, took off like a rocket down the outside at Santa Anita and got up in the shadows of the post, and I only had a tenner on it, but I think the roof came off my house that night.
I mean, Breeders' Cup. Or mentioned the Breeders' Cup. Magician winning that race stepped up stepped up a distance as well. Billy, any other memorable moments? You can interrupt him because he's going to go on to Wolverhampton. No doubt.
I was just trying to remember the Breeders' Cup.
At what point does he come on to Wolverhampton?
That's not yet. No, I stepped through the Breeders' Cup, so
that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your second most memorable moment of the?
I've got to give a mention to OLBG, who very kindly let me go along to Cheltenham for the Tuesday. They sponsor the Mayor's Hurdle, so we got to go along in a nice private box, got to go in the pre-parade ring, and then go and watch Kavega from the basically owners and trainers section. And she had no chance, it was all over. You could see she was struggling, and it was really important for her to get that fifth, and it wasn't going to happen. And then miraculously, she came through and she won it. It was just fantastic.
Ride. I mean, how many times has the horse won? We were saying before we came on. Does anyone know exactly how many times it's won? For a point?
What, at Cheltenham?
Yeah, Kavega.
Five.
There you go then.
Yeah. 6.
Easy
common
point.
knowledge.
Well, just guess it. I'm just making sure that our panel knew the answer. So that was your. That was obviously a highlight.
You've never seen. Obviously, Ruby and Willie. You've never seen them look so happy. They're just as much pleasure from that as they did with Hurricane.
And it was
Fly.
really being scrubbed along, wasn't it?
Yeah. To get out of jail, wasn't it? It was amazing when you.
I was with someone who knew the French woman inside out, and they backed Serendine, who was leading over the last at 50 to 1, and their face was a treat after that.
Anything else memory-wise? For you, Sam?
If I'm going back towards Cheltenham time, there was my own personal memorable highlight, which was nearly seeing probably one of the biggest priced bets of my rather short punting career come in, which was at 50 to 1. I had Celestial Halo.
Do you have coins? Was it coins?
It wasn't coins, no. It was even notes and everything. So, at one point, it looked like I was about to land a bit of a jackpot, but I'll take the place money quite happily, to be perfectly honest.
Were you quite happy after the place money?
Well,
sort of banging your head on the...
You know what? I looked at it. I'll never have, I don't think, a run like that with a 50 to 1 shot again.
That's interesting, because in the World Hurdle a few years previously, I'd had a big anti-post plunge. I don't do anti-post, but I had been back in Casbar Bliss for some months, just salting away a little bit of money in order to try and buy a nice new car. and that was second. I wasn't cheerful with the place money, so I didn't back it each way.
Ah, well, there you go. That's the error. But 50 to 1...
That's your stupid fault there.
Yeah.
50 to 1, couldn't help but back each way. And
did you do it on the day, or did you do it in advance?
That was actually on the day. Can you believe? The SP was 40 to 1, and I'd managed to get 50.
And what makes you tip a horse like that? I mean, on form, you just gut feeling, or you thought that...
I thought it was quite an open race. I know the winner has obviously proved that they are more than a capable horse, but at the time I just thought it was a mad price, and my friends thought I was mad. They were going, you never back 50 to 1 shots, you're always the one we take the mick out of for backing the shorties. But I said, value to me, and it was.
Listen then.
Yeah, well,
right.
Even the clock's right.
Anything from Elson Muley?
Well, I didn't back it, but it was Aurora's Encore winning the Grand National. Sue and Harvey Smith, they do a great job with what they've got. Sue owns half of their horses that they've got at the yards, and Ryan Mania, had one time given up the game, and Harvey Smith met him at a race meeting one time and said, come ride out for us and we'll try and get you back on track. And about a season later he's winning the Grand National for the two people that got him back up and running again. I just think that was a really nice moment. A yard I really like is Sue Smith's, and really tough horses.
6 to 1. No one even had that in the sweepstake, did they?
No,
it's fantastic when you think about it, though, because a yard like that, with the prize money, with everything that's attached to that race, and the coverage as well, they need that.
It's the one main thing in racing now, people are saying, oh, it's the big owners, they're chasing the small ones away. And then you get the small yard of Sue Smith come in, and Ryan Manny, who's not a well-known jockey up
That's
until that point.
That's the great thing about the Grand National, though, isn't it? Exactly. It could be won by anyone, and
it allows other owners to dream as well.
Yeah.
Like, you think, I've got a decent horse, I could win that.
And I mean, I know it was a positive result when we think about the fact that the horses all came back sound. It was the first race in ages that a lot of the animal rights campaigners were quite pleased with, the alterations. But do we think it detracts from the race, the fact that they've changed and modified the fences in such a way?
No, well, it's a difficult subject. I mean, obviously, horse safety is got to be the priority, and jockey safety, and we all agree with that. There is an argument to say, you watched Red Rum jumping the fences back in the day, and he didn't have a problem with them. And they were going out a bit slower and just jumping out a bit more carefully.
I think that's the main part, that they were going slower that day. You see jockeys in the past few seasons, they sprint up to the first and they go ridiculous pace.
Because they're so aware of the campaigners that will come out, no doubt, again in April.
They'll be there every year.
They'll definitely be there.
But, we have to embrace it, and I appreciate that times have moved on, and as long as the ground always gets water, to keep it that bit slower, because, I can remember having barbecues in April for the Grand National it's on. It's been that kind of weather.
I can remember also a two-horse finish as well a few years ago, and the real mud flying.
Yeah, it was interesting because I'd backed the Jenny Pittman horse, whose name escapes me, and the wife had backed Red Marauder. So we were absolutely not pleased that 38 horses had fell by the wayside, but we were definitely in for big payday.
Well, I'm going to have to let you go there on that point. We are going to come back after a very short break. I think they've got one or two memories of 2013. We're also going to look back on some of the big races of 2013 as well, and some memories of those after this short break.